You're listening to Invest2FI, preaching financial independence and assisting investors to achieve a more flexible and free lifestyle through smart financial planning and real estate investing. If leaving the corporate world and jumping into this thriving industry is what you desire, tune in and listen to stories of like-minded individuals who made the leap to financial independence. Equip yourself with the right tips and tricks to start your real estate journey, making active or passive ventures that are highly profitable and rewarding.
What's going on, everybody? You are listening to Invest2FI. My name is Craig Kurlop, aka the Fi Guy, and I'm here with my co-host, Miss Allie Garced. What's up, Allie?
Hey, Craig. Oh, nothing. Right before we started recording, you were slightly making fun of me about how I'm bundled up today because it's 50 degrees outside in Arizona.
Literally, although when this gets recorded, it'll probably be or when it gets released, it'll be a couple of months from now. But for those listening, if you don't remember the cold front that hit the U.S. a couple of months ago, where Arizona got down to 50 degrees, where I'm in northern Idaho. I think we've hit like negative 20. Some of you guys even more north or in Canada, if you're listening, or in Minnesota or something, you might even be colder than that. But I remember yesterday, it was 6 degrees, and I went to my wife. We went out for breakfast, and I was like, it's actually kind of warm today. Like compared to yesterday, which was like like 10 degrees, -6 to 6 is actually like a big difference. So,
Wow.
yeah.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. And to think that that's going to be me at some point here soon in 2024. Oh.
Yeah, you are moving to the crazy cold, probably like one of the coldest places in the country.
Yes. It's colder than Alaska. I would have never thought that Minnesota is colder than Alaska. Yeah.
Really? I would
Yes.
never. I don't even believe you. I'm gonna have to
Look it
confirm
up.
that with later.
Please.
Yeah.
Yes. Look it up. Look it up.
Wow, that is crazy. I wonder why, but probably maybe the Midwest, something about that Midwest. Like, I don't know, you don't have anything around you to like shelter you. It's just straight cold. But yeah, well, Allie, you've got lots of changes happening for you this year. You're moving to Minnesota, which I think people are going to question your brain.
Yep. Not by choice, I will say.
Yeah. They're also going to question your brain as the announcement that you're about to make.
Okay, it's 2020 when we're recording this. It's January 2024. And Craig and I have spoken about this behind the scenes, of course. But oh man, this like is breaking my heart. I am stepping down from the role as co-host in order to focus more on my agent sales business, especially with like the move that's going on. My wife is retiring from the Air Force and we're starting a whole new chapter across the country. There's a lot of different ways, and especially as an entrepreneur, you can your brain is always being tugged into this direction, that direction. And I love co-hosting this podcast. But in order to, I don't want to say make ends meet, but just to focus on what I am most focused, the 80-20 rule, like to focus on my 20% of what fills my bucket and I guess fills my bank account. I unfortunately am going to be stepping down from the role as co-host on Invest2FI.
Yeah. And I know it sounds sad and, but I think there's always like that silver lining. And we're going to obviously have a whole episode right now about Allie, about how she came to the decision, about where she's going next. And I think while, there's like, especially kind of when you're just starting out, right? There's a lot of things that you can say yes to because you've got time, but you maybe don't have the money, right? Allie is literally like, we are you guys a couple of years in the future if you're listening to this with your first or second property. So Allie now is starting to have less time and more money. So the opportunities that she has taken that are making her more and are higher dollar per hour are just not this podcast at the time, it's not her focus. And so, there's no harm done, there's no foul, but it's really just like a lesson that I think we should really dig into, because you guys are going to have to make these decisions in the future as well.
100%. Yeah. And it's always hard decisions to make, like I love you. I love the podcast. I love the team that we have here. It just at every, I think, at every like pivot point of your life, your career, it's always good to just readjust your just reassess, I guess, your goals are both like not just your 1 year goal, but like how are you going to get there? Reverse engineer that. So like what is the most important next step? And is everything on your schedule, on your calendar, it like helping you get there? It's hard to do, it's definitely hard. And also I do that with people too, like are these people helping multiply me, like are these multipliers or are these people that are taking away from me? I don't know.
So
I do this.
we're taking away from you, Allie. Got it.
No. Oh, that sounds so bad. Oh, no.
I'm going to poke fun. Yeah, I'm going to poke fun of you this whole episode because like I need a year's worth here.
That sounded bad. I specifically who I was thinking of is just like someone who like maybe just found out about the fire, just financial independence. They want to retire early, and the people that they're surrounding themselves with have never heard of that. Like maybe even make fun of you for that. Like, oh, sure, you want to retire early? Like those people you need to cut out of your life. So yeah, that's. But yeah, make fun of me all you want, Greg.
Yeah, okay, I will with your winter hat down in Arizona. I actually look warmer than you right now.
Yeah, you do.
Yeah, no, I think, like, so we're going to go into a little bit about like, I think we should really just kind of dive into like, just like what Allie has been up to, because there's been a lot of transitions happening. And so Allie, like, why don't you kind of just like start with, you just moved into a beautiful new build in Arizona. Like this was not, I can't imagine you would do that if this was on your radar 6 months ago. And so like, tell us like what has transpired in the past 6 months. Like, let's dig in.
Yeah. Yeah. And you know what? I think I'll back up even a little bit more. So, very like fast forwarding through this, I discovered financial independence and real estate investing in 2018. I started making a move in 2019. And since then, my wife and I have purchased one property, owner occupied, to move in there for a year, move out, rent it out. So that's what we've been doing for the last 6 years. And so we kind of have that going for us. Meanwhile, at the same time, I separated from the Air Force in 2022. I became a full-time real estate agent, and I'm loving the income. I'm loving the people that I'm helping. I love this business. So because I've been so focused on pretty vanilla, like not really doing creative deals, like helping people buy, usually with a VA loan, and helping people sell their property. That's my 20%, I guess, of like what is helping me honestly just make a living. So because that's what I'm focused on, we had continued, my wife and I had thought that we were going to be in Arizona maybe just a little bit longer, but every single time you plan, what's that quote? Like every time you plan something, like God laughs at you because he's going to throw a wrench, and that's what life is, like you can have the most laid out structured plan, but you might not get there in the direction that you thought, or your destination might just change altogether for hopefully the better. So a couple of months ago, like maybe 6 months ago, my wife was told from the Air Force that she is not fit to be a pilot because of her neck. So she's been an Air Force pilot for years now, but because of her neck injury, she can no longer fly for the Air Force or for commercial. So, and then it's what they call a medical board. So now she's being medically retired much sooner than what her normal retirement date would have been. So that's why we had purchased this house, moved in, expecting to live here for a year and a half, or maybe a year, which is what we typically do, buy a house every year and a half. But our time is being cut short. She is retiring in March, so probably around when this episode's going to air, because of family stuff. Her dad is pretty sick, like again, throwing a wrench. We are going out to Minnesota to support him and be be up there with him. So, and because we have our investments already, a lot of them here in Tucson, but not all of them, we have that running in the background. I am working on kind of just maintaining that. I don't have like any more mental bandwidth to like do creative deals and focus on direct mail or just like creative, marketing for investing. I have the slow but steady pace of just purchasing a property to move into and rent out a year later. That's what we're going to continue doing up in Minnesota. So that's one wheel, like my investing wheel. And then my business wheel, I'm still maintaining my business here in Tucson because I don't have to be here to help buyers close or sellers close. So I'm still maintaining this business down here while also starting in a new market as a real estate agent up in Minneapolis.
Mm. Yeah. I mean, that's a lot, right? I mean, that's a lot going on. And not only just career wise, but like family wise, which probably takes a bigger mental toll than anything on your career. And so, yeah, I mean, it's never easy moving to a new city, right? Especially in a city where like maybe you don't know that many people. I suspect Britt probably knows quite a few. Her parents are there. Maybe she grew up there, but still kind of scary times. And so it sounds like you're not really going after crazy deals. You're just going to kind of systematically buy one deal a year on the investment side, or maybe one every 3 or two every 3 years, whatever year and a half. What does it kind of look like for you? Because I know you're not going to like. Are you going to be helping clients in Minnesota? Are you going to be directly working with clients in Arizona, or are you just going to be just referring basically?
Yeah, a mixture of that. So a lot because I have built I don't want to use the word team, but real estate agent team down here in Tucson, that wheel can continue going. I'm still going to be doing business out here and also starting to help buyers and sellers up in Minneapolis, St. Paul, that area. I'm also working on debt pay down, which a lot of people, aren't for. There, some people are just like refinancing, refi till you die. We've all heard that. And I'm not, especially now at this time where like I see how short life can be. I don't want, it's just not my uh strategy to just continue like just revolving that debt over and over. My goal is not to have 101 properties. My goal is to have a couple enough. When is enough? So while I am working on the active income, turning that to just pay off the rental properties that we already have. So that way at some point, all of our properties are going to be paid off and we can just live off of that. Pretty similar to like, I would say Chad, Coach Carson with like
Yeah,
the
small but
small but
mighty.
mighty. Yep, exactly.
Yeah. Okay. So you've got family as your first priority. You've got your agent business probably as your second priority in terms of, referrals. And your third is kind of picking up that property once per year or once, whatever, every 2 or 3 years. So what is your like number? When do you think you'll stop and be like, you know what? I'm good. I'm just going to stop. I'll take any money that comes to me, but I'm not going to put any more effort into it.
Yeah. My end of year goal, which is that number, is 15,000 passive, as passive can be, 15,000 a month. And so I'm about halfway there, but I have the steps in place, especially with like the massive debt pay down with, what the Kwok brothers offer, the shred method. That's what I plan on doing, to have that debt pay down. And that is my initial phase of enough being enough. Now, of course, again, God's looking down and laughing at my plan. So everything is always going to change. But as of right now, my end of year goal, 12-month out goal is that will provide for me, my wife, our little fur babies, and especially since we don't plan on having real babies, or what my friend refers to as skin babies.
Skin babies? Oh, I
Skin
get
babies.
it. That makes
Yeah.
sense. Maybe we could just say babies.
Yeah, I know. She was
Yeah.
like, no, skin babies. It was so funny.
I feel like we're overthinking this. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. No, and that's great. And so that 15,000, that's going to come from your rentals and also from your for your revenue share downline. Is that right? Do you think you'll continue to grow that revenue share downline, or like once you hit that 15,000, you're like, meh, I'm good.
Yeah, I think I'll always continue to work in some manner. And I do like that the best. Like I love
Mhm.
talking to agents and helping them with like whatever pain point they're having. Usually it's lead gen, and I love talking about lead gen. Sometimes it's just like tracking your numbers and hey, I have the spreadsheets just here. Let's jump on a one-on-one call and walk through this. So yeah, I definitely will still be doing that. Once I get that 15K a month, then it's going to be like I say that I can be on a hammock for the rest of my life reading a fiction book, and we'll see how long that lasts. But definitely, I'm still going to be there for the agents that have joined our crew. Of course, they like family comes first, and they come second. Um, but then also like, how do I fill up the rest of the white space? I feel like I'm always going to be that person that needs to have like a full calendar in order to feel productive. So that is how I will be filling up my white space.
Nice.
But
That's
yeah.
super exciting. Allie, so in kind of, with respect to all these new changes happening in your life, obviously we understand and totally probably agree that it is best for you to step down as co-host of Invest2FI. And I always think, hey, like times like this is God or the universe just, opening new doors, opening new chapters, closing other ones. And I think Allie is going to be better off. I'm sure the Invest2FI podcast will be better off. I think like everything, usually that's how it works, right? This is an opportunity that we don't know what the future holds. And so what other doors are you shutting, Allie?
Yeah, just like, oh, Paula Pant always says this too at the beginning of her podcast. Like saying yes to one thing is saying no to everything else. So by me saying yes to continuing to help other agents in their real estate agent business, and by throwing money into the rental properties that I already have, that means that I don't have as much time to help other types of clients that are not my avatar, and or have spend money that I'm throwing into my properties elsewhere. Like for example, a couple of years ago, for the last 3 years, I had been interested in purchasing commercial property, or investing, passively in someone else's syndication. But I also wanted to make sure that I had enough research, knowledge, the right questions to ask in order to solidify who it was that I was going to be throwing money to. So at this time, because that's just, even though it's been in the forefront ish of my mind, I haven't had the time to dive into that. So that's also what I'm saying no to. I could I be making a better return on that? Maybe. Also, there nobody can really promise returns. And I've also heard of a bunch of people that have invested and they are not happy with their investments. So by me saying no to that, I'm able to at least focus my efforts elsewhere. Hopefully, I'm not like kind of just talking in circles here, but definitely syndication is a goal that I had for 2023, and I didn't do it because what took up majority of my time and what was giving me the most amount of money was actively working as a real estate agent.
Hmm. Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's important distinctions to make too. I kind of went through a similar thing here in the last couple of months, and I might even do this might even be an Investor Friday episode in itself. But I was really looking at going into, like commercial, multifamily self storage. Like I felt like that's the obvious next step for someone in our position,
Mhm.
and I kind of kept like coming back to why. Like, why am I going into commercial? What is the big why? And I kept coming to like, I think it's so I can like, I mean, it's to make more, it's to build the net worth, but it's also to like hang around bigger players and to like, kind of just like up the game totally. But then I go think about what I've done in the last 6 years, or 5 or 6 years, and I've become like probably, I don't want to say like I've become an expert. I won't say the expert, but probably one of the top experts in the Denver market and how to make properties cash flow and appreciate. And I think that is a very valuable skill to have. And I think a lot of people would love to have cash flowing property in a market like Denver or Phoenix
Mhm.
or Tucson or whatever, right? Where property simply you can't cash flow, but the appreciation is high. And so then I kind of like just was like, why don't I just like, I've made the mistakes. Like I've made so many mistakes already. Why not like learn from those mistakes and now actually reap the rewards of making the mistakes? And so this year for me, I want to buy like probably 6 to 7 properties in the Denver market with partners. That's kind of like my next thing. I'm doing this like 5-year sprint thing where I'm going to like work really hard for 5 years. And then I think wherever I'm at then is when I'm going to like really take a step back. And yeah, it was just kind of like, I just kind of had that epiphany of like, why do something new when you've learned so much? And now like you're just about ready to reap the rewards of it.
Yes. Yeah. Just like Alex Hormozy says this all the time, like every single time that you start getting bored with what you're doing, money comes from you knowing the steps. Like, yes, every
Mhm.
single day you need to talk to your clients, your buyers, sellers, lead prospecting as an agent. Like that becomes boring over time. Okay, who does my CRM tell me to talk to now? But that is where the money is. Like doing that over and over and over again, as opposed to jumping ship and starting a new venture, feeling that you've mastered that portion and moving on to something else. The moving on to something else is like almost like a what do you call it, like the honeymoon phase. Like, oh cool, like I'm learning something new, and people become addicted to learning something new when they've already mastered something else. When that once that mastery is in, that's where the money is. So like
Mhm.
keep going on that and don't venture out. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think like another really good analogy is like I'm a probably above average basketball player. Like when you take into account like everybody in the world, like I can dribble, I can shoot, I can lay up, I can do some funny moves and all that kind of stuff, right? And so people would put like Allie. I'm sorry, I'm going to venture and say that I could probably beat you in a game of one-on-one basketball, right?
100%. Yes.
But you know how much money I've made playing basketball in my life? $0. Maybe I've made a bet with somebody and made $20 or something, right? But certainly under 100. Whereas, but I'm still above average, right? And so basically, where I'm at right now in my basketball skill is probably like where I'm at right now in the real estate, in real estate and in my career. Is like I am above average, probably maybe even to the point of like pretty good, maybe like a college player of real estate. But like, how do I start making tens of millions of dollars a year like an NBA player might? Well, it's not by going to play baseball. It's not by going to play football. It's getting really, really good at basketball and like getting incrementally better. Like, and I don't know that like my free throw percentage is probably like an NBA person's free throw percentage is probably like 85%. Mine is probably about 60%, 65%. They're not That's only like 20% better than me, right? But they make like millions and millions more than me. And so if you think about how hard it is to get that extra 20%, that's exactly where all the money lies. So, and all the wealth begins and in the rewards come.
100%. Yeah. And by the time and the sacrifice, the effort that you're making toward just getting better at those free throws within basketball, like that's time that you're saying no to learning how to play golf or learning how to swim. It's you have to say no to some things to become a master at one.
Mhm. Absolutely. And it's crazy because free throws are boring. Getting good at free throws are so boring. I mean, like getting good, like basketball is fun when you're playing with playing a pickup game, but you're not going to get good playing. I mean, you'll get better, but you're not going to get really good by just playing pickup games. You got to sit there and just like take the boring shots, take the boring shots, take the boring shots, right hand, left hand, dribble with a tennis ball, whatever. All the things that you got to do, all the drills you got to do is really what are honing your skills. And then you can test your skills in a game against other people. And that's the fun part is the game, right? And so that's kind of like, I think sports and business are so aligned. I think there's multiple books written on that stuff. And so, that's just one of those things that, yeah, like you're getting really good at generating leads, at building up a team of real estate agents, and and while also staying humble with your investments and knowing what you want and not kind of like doing that comparison game to other people. And that I commend you for, Allie.
Thank you. It's hard, it's hard because there's the grass can always quote unquote be green on the other side. But if you've already taken enough time and you like what you're doing and it's working, just continue with that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Totally agree. Totally agree. Awesome. Okay, Allie. So we kind of understand as to like, why the transition's happening. You've got a lot of different moving pieces going on in your life. Like, is there anything else that you want to share or anything else that, is on your mind before we head off? I know it'll be probably a little bit of a shorter episode today.
Yeah. No, just keep me in mind when it comes to looking for, I mean, since I do have the background in investing, and I love just like the real estate agent sales. If you're interested in being a realtor, reach out. If you're interested in getting in contact with someone who is an investor friendly agent, or if you're somehow not an investor listening to the show, if you're just looking for a real estate agent, reach out. I have a great network. Craig has a great network. So reach out to us. And I would love to, I don't know, still remain in contact. So any and all feedback, would love to hear from you.
Awesome. Well, Allie, it's been a really, really fun year having you on the show. We're sorry it didn't work out for longer, but again, I think it is going to be best for everybody. That's usually how these things work. And I'm just kind of placing hope, in God and in whatever you believe that, it will be, this is how it was meant to be. Right. And so, of course, Allie and I, we are going to absolutely remain very good friends. I look forward to seeing you hopefully in Cancun at BPCon this coming
I'm leaning
year.
toward it now. Yep.
Yeah. If not, then I need to make it up to Minnesota at some point because I just have too many friends there and I need to see a bunch of them. So
Do it. Yes. We should be going under contract on a property tomorrow or today. But yeah, you, Grace, are more than welcome to come over, of course, at any time. Shoot, I'll even give you a key. But this has been awesome, like being the co-host, even though it was short-lived. I'm sorry, but I love you guys. Craig, I love you. Grace, I love you. And I am excited for the next co-host. I'm excited.
Yep. And we will be having another episode announcing our next co-host. And so it's going to be good. It's going to be fun. And Allie, again, thanks so much for everything. We love you tremendously. And we wish you all the best in your move, all the best in your new business ventures, and you will not be a stranger. So see ya.
Love you guys. Keep investing. See ya.
That's it for this episode of Invest2FI. We hope that these nuggets of real estate wisdom lead to more savvy financial planning and a clearer path towards financial freedom. For more content like this, subscribe to the show at Invest2FI.com. Don't forget to leave a rating and share it with your friends. Together, we can transform more real estate newbies into successful and clever investors. Thank you so much for listening. See you on the next one.